Hello and welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're diving into something really quite different. We're taking our cues from excerpts of a piece called The Philosopher's Stool by Edwin Campbell. And our mission really is to explore how, deep philosophical ideas can pop up in really unexpected ways.
Absolutely, not just from dusty old books.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about finding that wisdom in, surprising corners of life, and maybe from surprising characters, too. This isn't about strict academia today.
No, it's more grounded.
Right. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's unpack this. We need to introduce you to Reginald Scarabaeus Jones. Reggie, for short.
Reggie the dung beetle.
Reggie the dung beetle. And he is not your average dung beetle, not at all. Well, his buddies in the next field are busy rolling and collecting the usual stuff.
Doing beetle things.
Doing beetle things, yeah. Reggie, he's developed what the source calls philosophical tendencies.
Which already sounds intriguing.
Yeah, it does. He's actually questioning the deeper meaning of dung, the nature of existence itself. Big questions.
Huge questions. And wondering if there's more to life than just, pushing manure around all day.
Which, as the text points out, are dangerous thoughts for a dung beetle to have.
Right. Like a fish suddenly worrying about water, it's just not done.
That initial spark, that little deviation from the norm, it sets him off on this whole other journey.
It really does. And that journey takes him, rather unexpectedly, to the Dung and Duck Public House.
A great name.
Isn't it? It's in a place called Little Wickering, apparently has a 300-year history, served humans, lost dwarfs, even a glitter-paying fairy.
A glitter-paying fairy. I mean, the stories that pub could tell.
You have to wonder. It sounds like a whole world in there.
Definitely. But crucially, in all that time, never served a dung beetle.
Until Reggie.
Until Reggie.
And this happens, we're told, on a Tuesday evening, late September. Reggie, sort of, waddles in purposefully.
Waddling with purpose. I like that.
Me too. He pushes through the door, goes up to the bar, and meets Harold, the stout barkeeper.
Yep.
And this is the moment it all kicks off. The catalyst.
Yes. Reggie looks around, points one of his little legs at a bar stool, and asks Harold, "Well, it seems simple enough. Is this stool taken?"
And you can just imagine the silence, right? That question just hangs there. Harold stares, the other patrons look up. A couple of farmers, a retired postman.
And a traveling salesman who apparently might just be a wizard. Bit of foreshadowing there, perhaps.
Could be. So everyone's just looking. Harold's baffled.
Understandably. And then Reggie explains, you get the sense he's been thinking about this for ages. He tells Harold, look, as a dung beetle, I have a professional interest in stools.
Okay, now that's an opening line.
Right. He says the question, is this stool taken? It works on multiple levels of meaning.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. On the surface, sure, it's about a seat. Is it free? But Reggie says, for someone in my line of work, it raises profound questions about ownership, purpose, and the very nature of what we consider valuable.
So it's not just, can I sit here? It's, what does it mean to take something, to own it? What gives this stool its purpose, its value?
Exactly. He's immediately elevating this very mundane object.
Yeah, that's what's so fascinating. Taking something totally ordinary, a pub stool, and turning it into, like, a philosophical launch pad.
Just by shifting perspective.
Exactly. It makes you think, doesn't it? How our own jobs, our daily routines, might have these hidden depths if we just looked at them like Reggie looks at a stool.
Or dung, for that matter.
Or dung, yes.
So Harold starts pouring drinks, and Reggie's really getting into his stride now. He talks about what he likes to drink. Something dark and rich, he says, with plenty of body and a complex finish.
Sounds like a stout drinker.
You'd think. But no, he clarifies he doesn't actually drink it.
Oh, what does he do then?
He rolls it around. He analyzes the bouquet. He even composes poems about its essential nature.
Okay, that's different. So it's purely an aesthetic thing, a sensory analysis.
Pretty much. An aesthetic experience, he calls it. It's like he's studying it, not consuming it.
Like a wine connoisseur, but with the Beatles' approach, understanding its essence through observation.
Yeah. And this really shows how he sees his work, doesn't it? It's not just practical. He actually says most of his work deals with the metaphysical implications of waste management.
Right. Metaphysics and manure. Not a common pairing.
Not usually. But when he says metaphysical, he's not just talking about, bin day. He means the fundamental nature of reality, but applied to decay and renewal.
So, the big philosophical questions grounded in something very earthy.
Precisely. He says, There's a surprising amount of philosophy to be found in the recycling of organic matter if you approach it with the right mindset.
And the farmers in the pub are listening to this.
They are, and they actually admit they'd never thought about it that way.
That's brilliant. Finding the insight where others just see, well, waste.
That reframing seems to be his whole thing. He lays out his core philosophy. They see a pile of dung and think waste product. I see it and think opportunity for transformation.
Opportunity for transformation. That's the key phrase.
Yeah. He goes on, after all, what is dung but the end result of one life cycle and the beginning of another? It's quite beautiful, really, in a circular sort of way.
And that idea, waste as opportunity, that's huge, isn't it? It's not just about dung beetles. Think about our own lives.
How so?
Well, setbacks, projects that fail, things we think are useless or finished. Reggie's perspective suggests maybe they're not waste at all. Maybe they're just raw material.
The start of something new, if you look at it, right?
Exactly. Adopting that dung beetle mindset, finding value in what seems discarded.
That is powerful. And remember the maybe wizard salesman.
Yeah, what's he doing?
He's apparently super intrigued, scribbling away in a notebook. He asked Reggie if he's thought about publishing.
Huh. Peer review for the dung beetle philosopher.
Seems like it. Reggie says, yeah, he's working on a treatise. Get this title. The Examined Life. A Beetle's Guide to Finding Meaning in Manure.
Okay, I'd read that.
Wouldn't you? Though he does admit he's still struggling with the chapter on the ontological implications of cow pats versus horse droppings.
The ontological implications, so the fundamental being or essence of different types of dung.
That's what ontology is, right? The study of being.
Yeah, essentially. So he's applying serious philosophical inquiry to the subtle differences between, well, different kinds of manure.
It sounds almost comical, but it shows how deep you can go, even in a really specialized field.
Absolutely. It connects to the bigger picture. It doesn't matter how niche your expertise is, you can still end up wrestling with universal questions about existence, value, transformation. It applies everywhere.
And Reggie keeps going. He holds court there on his stool all evening.
What else does he talk about?
All sorts. Apparently, everything from the aerodynamics of dung balls, which must be fascinating.
I bet it is, actually. Physics in action.
To the social implications of communal waste processing. The other people in the pub, they get drawn in. They're having conversations they never expected.
With a beetle.
With a beetle. He talks to the retired postman, for instance, compares their jobs.
How postman and dung beetle?
He says delivery and disposal are really just two sides of the same coin.
Mm.
Both are about facilitating the flow of life.
That's actually quite profound. One brings things, one takes things away, but both keep the system moving. Mail, waste. It enables flow.
Keep society or the pasture functioning.
Yeah, clearing the old, making way for the new. They seem opposite, but they're interdependent. Wow.
And he even jokes about the cow pasture having its own complex society.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He mentions politics, territorial disputes, resource allocation conflicts, draws a parallel straight to human society.
He probably sees it all. It's funny, but probably true. Or maybe not so different.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often do we just miss these connections? We see our jobs, our routines as mundane.
And we don't see how they fit into the bigger cycles, the bigger picture.
So if you're listening, maybe think about your own work. What's a first step to seeing those connections, even if it feels, mundane?
I think a good start is just to ask, what's the ultimate point? Beyond the task itself. How does what I do help something else happen? How does it enable a flow or transformation?
So if you process invoices,
you're not just pushing paper. You're helping resources move, which lets a company operate, which supports people. You're part of that flow. It's about consciously shifting your view, like Reggie did.
Just looking again, seeing the stool or the dung differently.
Precisely.
By the end of the night, Harold the barkeeper is apparently genuinely sorry to see Reggie go.
He made an impression.
Definitely. The source says Reggie turned an ordinary Tuesday into something approaching enlightenment. And the people in the pub, they'd never again look at bar stools, dung beetles, or the deeper meaning of existence in quite the same way.
That's the power of a shifted perspective.
It really is. And that's kind of what these deep dives are about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exploring something like the philosopher's stool shows us that, wisdom can come from anywhere.
From unexpected characters, unassuming places.
And it reminds you what looks like waste product to one person
can be an opportunity for transformation to another.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? Well, as Reggie gets ready to leave, adjusting his tiny philosopher's cloak.
He has a cloak. Of course he does.
Apparently. He leaves him with one last thought. He says, remember, friends, It's not about whether the stool is taken. It's about whether you're worthy of taking it.
Oof. That lands differently. It shifts the focus from possession to qualification or maybe preparedness.
Yeah. Are you ready for the opportunity, the responsibility that comes with taking the stool? Harold, for one, is changed. He's already planning to stock the good stout for Reggie's next visit.
He earned it. So here's something to think about, a provocative thought maybe. In your own life, what are the ordinary stools?
Could be actual objects, could be routines, things you overlook.
Right. What things in your environment might hold some deeper meaning if you just looked at them with Reggie's kind of curiosity, that sort of philosophical dumb beetle mindset?
What new perspectives could open up? What hidden beauty or purpose might you find?
Just by asking yourself, am I worthy of taking this stool? What does it mean to truly engage with this thing, this task, this moment?